Hi and welcome to Social Capital brought to you by We Care Homes. Today we are joined by the women of We Care Homes and the women only. My name is Denise. I am the COO of We Care Homes. To my right we have
Rachel SA.
Sabrina, Addy.
And Jaden Atkins.
welcome my lovely ladies. Now these are ladies that I work with on a day-to-day basis, and I thought it would be quite interesting if we brought the ladies together to basically go through a few issues that we may face as women in this in this field. And also just basically let things off your chest, have it as an outlet, and just go through a few things. So I'm gonna have a few questions. I will answer some of them with you as well and share some of my experiences and my opinions and stuff like that. But I'm just gonna start with, firstly, what brought you into working in the field of working with young people, children and young people? We can start with you, Rachel.
So I've never seen myself in like an office. I've never wanted an office type of job. I've always liked working with people, especially children. I've always picked subjects like sociology from GCSE times to A-level times, sociology, psychology, to doing my degree in criminology and sociology. And then I worked in a primary school for about 3 years, but I felt like I was a bit stagnant with the progression, because with primary school it's very repetitive. So I wanted to challenge myself a bit more, so I went into this sector working in care.
I feel you. Sabrina?
I feel like mine is the area that I grew up. The stuff that I used to see through the window, the relationships that I also had as well, and how I used to have an impact on the guys that I used to date. So I always knew that there was something about me that could basically help them. So I just knew that my purpose was aligned to just me helping young people. And yeah, so that's what I'm currently doing.
Lovely. Jay?
Me, I haven't worked per se with kids in the past like that, but I've always been with and around kids, the older cousin, the older sister. And for me, it's like, you can only do so much with your family because they're already set in their ways. If you tell your auntie's child, don't do that, it's always a but. So I feel like coming into like an environment where I'm in the position where I'm able to help make the difference, make a change, is great, and it's been great. I love it.
Lovely, jubbly. So Sabrina literally mentioned, that she observed that she was able to bring things to her relationships, and funny enough, that's like one of the questions, right? So what I want to ask you lot, and don't all jump at the chance, but working in this field, how do you feel that it contributes to like your personal relationships? We can talk about partners, we can talk about family members and stuff like that. So I'll start with...
No.
Oh, go on, Jay, man.
No.
All right, cool. Sabrina, because you started there, go on.
I feel like for myself, being a mum to a young boy, us starting up, it was more, we only had boys. So it taught me patience. There were certain things that I realized that if I don't stop doing myself, then my child can also have like the same effects that these young people have due to like lack of support or just being misunderstood or basically just along them lines. So that being said, it's more about me raising my son, because it's like there's just things that we do that I feel like it shapes me into a better mum at home. So
Okay.
yeah, for me
Yeah.
it's for my son.
Yeah, Rachel?
I think for me, it first starts with me looking at myself. So while I'm working with these young people, while I'm going on these trainings, I'm learning stuff about myself and seeing myself and reliving my experience from when I was younger and trying to do it better, which is making me grow more and be better in my relationships. And I'm sharing what I'm learning with the people that I'm talking to, with my family and with my attitude in general. So yeah, I think it's like a mirror to myself.
No, I hear you.
At the same time as working and helping other people.
Yeah. I think for me, along the same lines as Sabrina, because I have a son who is going to be 19 years old.
Yeah,
And
right.
for me, I feel like as well as like previous experiences when I was around his age, and how society is now, and things like social media, and the fact that the country's not the same, like in regards to areas and certain things and crime and all that sort of thing. So I do fear for my child.
Yeah.
So one thing I remember, and I want to ask you lot, when you lot was younger, yeah, and you had to do like apply to college, get your provisional, get your license, do that stuff. Who taught you those things?
My mates.
Yeah, myself.
One
I feel like,
My
yeah,
mum.
just our community.
Yeah, I feel like there wasn't like the somebody to go to help you with those things. Do you see what I'm trying to say? And I feel that because in this field, our purpose is to support care for children and young people, naturally I bring that to my relationship with my son. So like, for instance, there's like some key work sessions that we do with our kids, right? I do that with my son. So that's an example of something that I bring home and
to your
stuff.
relationship.
When I see things going viral and someone's done this or someone's fighting at this school, whatever, straight away I'm going on to my getting onto my son and making him aware of certain things. I think there was one time where one of the school kids was bringing something. They were saying it was like sweets. They thought it was sweets, but these times they were drugs. So I was like, make sure you don't take anything from anybody. Blah 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 blah. So I see where like we bring like the profession and the things that we do professionally into our household and things like that.
What I will say to that is that the era that we was raised, we didn't have internet the way these kids had internet.
No. Internet. Okay, let's go back to internet. Yeah,
We had
You guys
MSN. We had back in the day.
Yeah, but it
you
was
young.
slow.
You guys are young, but like we
Yeah, but
had
you had
N
MSN.
Carter. Don't hype on me. We had N Carter. Do you guys remember
Nah,
N
don't.
Carter?
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
just knew
God.
that my mum's line was
So
busy.
you old.
No. Okay, do you remember when we used to with a computer and for the computer to get to internet, it had to dial up and it blocks the house phone?
That's what
Yes,
I'm saying. My mum's line
yes.
was busy.
So you lot never used N Carter
I don't know what I was
because
using.
you guys weren't academics. You lot just wanted to be running around.
I was playing outside a lot actually,
Yeah.
and kids don't play outside no more. I actually played outside.
It's not safe.
Yeah, but we
Yeah.
had community.
Yeah,
There's
like, I
no
actually
community.
grew up playing
You gotta remember,
outside.
our neighbours was the CCTV. We didn't have
out the window.
CCTV.
Yeah.
It's
So it
true.
took one parent
Auntie from
to
number
be in
103
shouting,
will
saying,
come and tell you
Sherelle, it's bedtime.
it's true.
Nadia's grandma, literally, like, she'll just be screaming whatever she needed to scream through the window, but it was just beautiful. We didn't need CCTV because community was a CCTV,
Yeah,
and now
I
it's
agree.
different. But what I will say is that we wasn't raised on the internet, so it was different for us. So if one friend's got her provisional, we're all getting the provisional.
Yeah.
Whereas now everyone's mind is polluted, people are distracted, and all of the rest. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned things about community and about obviously like when we were growing up. Well, obviously we've got a few different generations and stuff like that. But
True.
still, growing up, what I wanted to ask, right? And it's a conversation that I had with our CEO, Adrian, yeah? And he asked me a question. He said, Dens, when you was growing up, what female role models did you have when you were younger? And I said, to be honest, the only person that I could look at was my mother.
I didn't
However, I didn't realise that my mum was a
Yeah.
role model
Yeah.
until I became a parent
Yes.
Yeah.
and understood the things that she used to be on me for.
Yes.
And obviously until I had a child. So
Yes.
my question to you guys is that growing up, right, what female role models did you have? We're going to go to Jay because she didn't answer the first question.
My answer would be the same as yours, because it's only as I've gotten older and I've had a child that I'll be like, bro, like, looking back, I'm trying to be or do like my mum to get my child how she's gotten me. But I think being young, I might have said my grandma. My grandma was amazing.
It was always the grandma, you know.
Yeah.
Used to love going to grandma's house.
Yeah.
House
Do you know
was
what I mean?
always lit.
It's always lit. Rachel?
Mine's a bit different. I don't have a child, so maybe I haven't seen that side yet. But obviously,
God willing.
thank you. Obviously, I see attributes in a lot of women that are around me, like my mum, my aunties and stuff like that. But I think I didn't have a role model. I just saw a lot of things I didn't want to be like, which
Yeah.
is what made me push harder.
Can you give us like some examples?
Just the way people around me, really close to me, grew up. I just didn't like their experience or where their life was leading to, and I didn't want to go through what they went through. So I tried to push myself even harder to be where I am
I hear
now.
you. I hear you. Sabrina?
I feel like for myself, I didn't actually have a role model growing up, but just like you said, Denise, right now that I'm a mother, I kind of look to my mum, even though she's not here anymore. However, there's certain things that she said, for example, like me going out and then coming home sleeping. She always used to say to me that when you come home, you sleep But when your friends go home, they're probably doing their work. And that's what I'm saying. So now it's like, even though she hasn't been here for like over 10 years, that's my role model. However, I'm still trying to unlearn certain things as well that she did. But she wanted the best for me, the same way your mum wanted the best for you. Your mum wants the best for you, and your mum wants the best for you. So yeah, my mum now, but not then.
Yeah.
Beyonce.
I'm quite. Thank you. You know what? That's what I was trying. I was thinking. So I was saying, and I said to Adrian, yeah, if we had this conversation, like if I had this conversation with you guys, and then I had a conversation with like the female young people that we have in our placements, yeah. Wait, that's what I said. What role models do you think? What female role models do you think that they look up to?
Celebrities.
Sexy Red.
Cool.
The ones that don't have to pay bills.
Or an influencer, TikTok influencer.
The ones that
TikTok,
have a man to do everything.
people with the most views.
Do you know why I'll say Sexy Red? Yeah, because she doesn't give a heck. She does not. She doesn't even try, and she's just out there doing her thing, and it's working for her.
Yeah.
So
okay,
but that's
cool.
not for everyone though.
No, but I'm saying
they think that they see this and they're like, yeah, I want this for myself. But it's not you. You're just trying to replicate someone's behaviour.
But why? Okay, so quick question: why do you feel that in society now, compared to when we were growing up, why is it that it's a change in the type of individuals or celebrities, influencers, TikTokers, and stuff like that? Why do you feel that is what people aspire to be now, compared to like how we felt when we was growing up and the type of role models we were kind of looking at?
The thing is, with us lot and our role models, that's just on MTV. Now, social media, everyone wants to be perfect, and everyone appears to have the same idea of what perfect looks like to them. So it's like flat stomach, lace frontal, and all these things, and that's what these celebrities are also glorifying. However, some of them are trying to like dim it down as well. So it's like there's people who are reducing their BBLs and all these things. However, I still stick with Sexy Red because she's just free. She's free and ghetto, so it's lovely.
I hear so, knowing what we've known, what we've just uncovered here right now, as females in the health and social care sector, with young females in our accommodations and young females that we support, what things as a female support worker or female in the role, because we're not all support workers, what things can we do to support females in our placements or in our services? Because obviously we do R2D and all the other stuff, all the good stuff. So I'm going to take it to Rachel.
I think first thing is to just be an example. So on every shift, when you're communicating with these people, you talk about your real life experiences, everything you've gone through, the good and the bad, because they need to hear everything. Because you're not exactly telling them what to do, but you're just sharing yourself, and then they can choose which way they want to go. The second thing I would say is speaking life into them, because they're in care. They've had bad backgrounds, bad upbringings, maybe no serious support systems. So you need to speak life into them. Even if they're not willing to hear it, just keep doing it until you build that rapport and they actually trust you. And and then the third thing I would say is show them what's out there, because a lot of these people, they don't know what else is out there. I remember we went Nando's one time and one of the young people said, "Oh, what's Nando's? I've never been there." I was thinking, wow, simple Nando's. But she's literally just lived in her Barking and Dagenham area in her estate. Unfortunately, her parents were on drugs. So she's only ever seen that. She hasn't gone out. She's gone to the corner shop. That's about it. But she didn't know what Nando's was. So expose them to other things so they can see what's out there and want more.
I hear you. Jay, what things do you think that as a female support worker that you could bring to the female young people that we support?
Life experience. I might go a bit off topic, but I think it's a lot easier, in my experience anyway, to make that difference in a young man than it is a female, because I think
I'm so thankful you said that.
I think females are a lot more hard-headed. They're like, you can tell them something and it's like, yeah, on the spot, they're going to listen. But as soon as they leave that room, it's like, okay, go back to make that phone call to do whatever they was going to do 10 minutes ago, whatever the case may be. So I think girls are a lot more difficult, and I think they can be a bit more receptive to men speaking to them. But then it's a balance, because some of them are looking for a different type of attention. It's very hard with young children. I think you've got to build a foundation with them, understand them, and then know which way to go with them. So I can't answer your question directly.
I hear you. We'll come to your point, Sabrina.
I feel like what they both said regarding sharing your experience, because like when I read the Bible, there's certain things that happen in the Bible that I read, certain people's stories that I feel like it's there so that I don't have to go through it. Or even if I do go through it, I know how to navigate so that I don't endure the endurance that they did for that long, if that makes sense. So it's like sharing your experience, but also supporting them with sticking to being in education, and maybe a business plan as well, because the young girls now, they're so ambitious.
Yeah.
And I don't remember being ambitious the way they are at that age. So I feel like with them, they have more of an advantage with us lot, because we can support them, and all of us don't know somebody who knows somebody, so it's like a fast track. So yeah, so sharing our experiences, helping them with education and a business plan.
Yeah.
Can I say something though?
Of course.
What's up?
I agree with what you're saying, but I also think it's very important to push to everyone. I know everyone wants to be their own boss, they want to have their business, but it's okay if you don't, and it's okay if you want to work for someone else, have a 9 to 5, because
100%.
not everyone can be a boss.
100%.
Do you know why I think there's such a height in this whole wanting to boss up and be CEOs rather than employees? And I generally feel it's because of the educational system.
Yeah.
The educational system teaches us how to be employees.
Yeah.
It teaches us how to have interview skills.
Yeah.
It teaches us how to be a good team player.
Yeah.
It teaches us how to, basically be an employee.
Yeah.
You're never taught how to be a boss or how to govern your own business and, those type of skills. So when you see someone who has come from like the same same characteristics as you, same environment as you, and they've gone down a path where they've been able to open up their own business, whether it's a big business, whether it's a small business, or just doing their own hustle, it's admirable.
Yeah.
You see what I'm trying to say to you? And that's one of the reasons why we like to teach our young people things that you won't usually get in education. Yeah, stuff like financial literacy. I don't know if any of you guys learnt about mortgages, APRs, interest rates, credit cards, debts, CCJs. Did you guys learn any of that?
Not in
school.
Not in school. Yeah.
Do you see what I'm trying to say? There's always the other side, or how the others live, and it's about putting all those things out on the table for our young people, or for anyone that we support in general, and understand that's there. Because remember I was saying before, I don't remember who told me that I need to do my provisional. But now there's so much like people around like us that are there say, provisional, no problem. I've got the form on my phone.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say to you? You want to do this? Sabrina said the same thing. I know a person who knows a person. It gets fast
But
tracked.
is this just people in care, or are the other kids
No.
also getting that?
Well, okay, I can talk for my child, my godchildren, and so forth. But the things that they have me to come to.
Yeah.
I didn't have a me to go to. I think, but what I did have was youth club. But what was breeding in the youth club weren't always positive stuff.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we couldn't even tell our mums to help us with the forms.
Yeah, remember, a
we're
lot of
filling
our
the
mums
forms for
are...
our parents.
That's what I'm saying. So
We're filling the forms
We're
for our
first
parents.
generation, so they didn't even
so
know
it's
anything.
different for us.
Yeah.
Cool. So Jay made a mention in regards to obviously in our specific organization, working with males and working with females.
Yeah.
So one of the questions that I was going to ask, right, what is the difference with having a house full of females or a house full of males that we support? So let's assume we have a house that's full of females that are placed in the house and we support them, and let's assume a house full of males that we support and they're placed in our accommodation. What are the differences that we experience, especially as female staff? Because like you mentioned before, a male staff working and a female staff working is completely different.
Yeah.
So I want you to mention some of the good things and some of the bad things. So I'll go with you, Sabrina.
I feel like for myself, regarding the guys, the boys that I worked with, they were let down by their mothers. So that was quite hard for them to even trust me, especially being the only female in my house. So something had to kick off in order for them to let me in. So it's like me and them will be going back and forth, but then one might be in a situation and he's literally crying on my shoulder. Whereas with the females, it's more understanding for myself because I've been there myself. So I'm just thinking, you know what? Excuse me, yeah,
It'll
but she's
pass.
it's hormones, yeah? Hormones or whatever. However, like, I've been there. So, oh, is it a boy or is it da-da-da-da-da? So it's like, I can tell that maybe she's not feeling well or maybe it's this or... So I would say that's
For you.
my challenge, yeah.
Tell me the differences, like a whole house full of boys, a house full of girls.
I'd say with girls is everyone's got hormones, even us ourselves as women. So it's like a lot of, they don't really want to listen. Maybe they don't want to listen to you. They've got their own agendas because of their hormones and stuff. So it's harder to get through to them until you get that rapport. But then once you have that rapport, it's a lot easier. But because of the change in their hormones, it makes it harder and longer. But with a boy, they might want to impress you because you're a female. So it's easier for them to come to you, or maybe they'll do a key work session because, oh yes, it's this lady today, so let me impress her, let me do this. So maybe it's easier for you to get through to them. And also on the opposite side of what Sabrina said with the mummy issue sort of thing, some of them want to be with females even more because they didn't have a mum. Like we've got a new boy that just joined us and he's got mummy issues, and already he's saying I love you within 3 weeks. He's doing handshakes with all the staff members, like, because he's missing that, so he's gravitating more to that. So yeah, sometimes it's easier to work with boys if you're a female because it's easier to get through to them. You can talk to them, and boys, they want to, their ego and their pride, they want to impress you, so it's easier to work with them. And then I'll say with girls, it's harder in the beginning, but then it gets easier once you build that rapport.
Yeah. So Jay, you were saying earlier that you prefer working with males rather than the females. I feel exactly the same way.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I'll tell you the reason being, right? The experiences that I've had with the majority of females, and I'm talking about back over 10 years ago, working with in children's homes and supporting accommodations and working with predominantly, it was quite hard to get females. There wasn't really a lot of females in care. There were more the males that were at risk of exploitation or gang affiliation and stuff like that. So with the boys, most of them had issues surrounding parents and guardianship. So they never had the support or the nagging person that said, listen, get up, go to school. You have to go to school, and always have that aspect. So the boys would always adapt to you because although you're nagging them, they know that you want the best for them. With the girls, sometimes personally, and I don't want you to take it in a wrong way, I felt there was an aspect of not jealousy, but you know, there's sometimes you can have females that have majority of their friends are males, and that's because they see females as, I don't want to say it on the thing, but yeah,
it's competition as well, and that's in all aspects, not even just young people. In the working department, it's just like there's only room for one woman. There's only room for this person, so it just happens. Yeah.
But then I felt that my outcomes, my most like positive outcomes within my career, have been through supporting young males, and that's because of the extent that I have had to go through to support them. And as you guys mentioned, females are more, there's more hormones. So it's a bit harder to let you guys, like, let other people in. But at the same time, there's so much more emotions.
But I love it.
I know you do. I know you do. Can I tell you that I came into work one day and she was sitting on a sofa with a female resident, and they were holding hands and they were crying. It was like, oh,
I love it.
Yeah, and that's such a good, like, for you, like, it's such a good skill to have, to be able to connect to them emotionally, as well as still ensuring we have the professional boundary. To have somebody to have somebody that you can just sit down and cry with and no one's going to judge you, you hardly get that, even as an adult now, and experiencing different types of friendships and relationships. I'm not somebody that's emotional like that and cry on the spot and stuff like that.
Whereas I'll cry every day.
She cries.
But she is the most gangster out of everybody, but she's the emotional gangster.
So it's like, it's such a unique trait to have, and I love the way that you brought it into the way that you work, especially with the young people that we have.
Do you know what I'll say though? Because I feel like we've had so many years of like just boys, and then having male staff, especially in my home. So it's a nice balance. I love going there and seeing just different personalities just there, and knowing that I can actually support them because I've been there. It doesn't mean that I'm going to make everything right. However, I can actually sit down with them and also make an impact. Whereas with the male staff, they don't have time when it comes to emotions. So it's like the girls latch onto me, but I feel needed, if that makes sense. Like there was one child that said she's not coming home until I come back. Yeah, I love that for me.
No, we don't. We love that for you,
even
but
today,
we need them home.
Today, I was even saying to her like, tomorrow, we're gonna sit down and watch a movie, and she was like, I can't wait. I was like,
these are like the small things and stuff like that. It's
different though.
Yeah, go on.
And do you know? I think I know why.
Go.
Guys is cool. Like guys, they're Jaden, your gang, whatever. Girls, however, aside from many other things, I'm young I am young. I look a lot younger than I am. So I come into the home, and to be impressionable on someone who may think I'm also 17, I think is hard.
They're thinking like, who are you to tell me what to
and
do?
I'm like, babe, I'm not your age, but
and you're bite size.
I feel like I have that problem as well.
Not bite size. Not bite size.
Yeah, when you look young, it's quite difficult with a female as well. No, but you look more mature.
I know.
Do you not want to share your age? Do you not want to share your age?
I don't mind. I'm 25.
Lovely.
34.
And I'm 28.
Lovely.
And you're?
Share
yours.
You lot. I'm actually going to be 37 in like 2 weeks.
Also, in the book I'm reading, when you're 30, you've got 80% productivity of your life. So you really and truly, we're not old, you know. 30 is not old. All of that's not old. You've got so much left.
Reached how old did you say you was?
28.
Yeah, you guys haven't reached 30, but when I reached 30, it was like a whole.
I feel like I'm excited to be 30.
You should
more
be.
money, more life experience. Like,
No, something just uncovered. Like when I turned
and you
30.
live life.
Okay,
you live life.
We don't have to do
like
that.
you live life. So I want to be 30.
What I'll say for myself regarding like this whole age stuff, I feel like pain matured me. So whereas I've got to a place now where I'm just like, you know what, I've dwelled for too long. Now I feel younger than I ever have. I'm doing things that, even though it gives me anxiety, but the minute I overcome, it's so fulfilling and it's so personal. It's all about me. So yeah. Inside,
I hear it.
I'm 30, please.
And I also think the internet is doing that as well, because I see my mum trying to be young because of TikTok. Like, I feel like internet is bad and good because it's really...
We need to get them off the internet.
Yeah, they're really trying to be young.
Yeah,
like,
too much.
Everyone don't think they're old anymore.
So I'm going to go on to the last question now, right? And the last question is about challenges. Now, I want you to think about yourself as a female and in this industry. And I want you to tell me, like, what is the number one challenge that you feel is in... that we may face in our career paths, like that we're currently in. Like, what is the number one challenge?
Challenge from who?
Challenge for yourself.
In the career, from the kids.
It could be from the kids.
Anywhere.
It could be...
Or from you lot. Because I'm ready for this one.
What is your number one challenge that
I got
you
a few
face
that I'm facing
challenges.
now?
as a female professional in this field?
From who? That's what I'm trying
It could be from any angle, because
Okay.
everyone can have it
So,
differently.
Mine, I think I had this conversation with you the other day. So mine is, do you think that I can do more?
I don't think, I know.
Okay, so you know I can do more. And I feel like for me, it's like, what do I have to do in order for you to, not you, but then for everyone to kind of like see me, if that makes sense? Because it's like, just because I can do it doesn't mean that I can't get like a well done or something like that. However, you see potential in me, which is amazing. And I was even saying this to Adrian the other day, that if I was to hear you say it to somebody else, I'd be like, yeah, but hearing it coming from you to me, I'm just like, yo, what do I do? And that's why I even said to you today, like, how do I grow?
Right, yeah. So for me, obviously, with me and you, it's a bit different because we speak on a regular basis.
Every
and we
day,
speak
breakfast,
about,
lunch and dinner.
Yeah. We speak about professional and we speak about personal.
Yeah.
And for me, I always want to instill the best for you.
Yeah.
Now, the role that you're in, I believe you exceed that role.
Yeah.
But because you know you're capable of, you don't show your biggest capabilities. I'm always rooting for you. Do you get what I'm trying to say to you? I root for all the females. Like if you lot here, if I let you lot in some of the meetings, I'm always rooting for, because there's not a lot of us in the organisation. And that's why I wanted us to be here and sit down together and have this podcast and kind of talk about, you know, the things that are challenging us. So obviously I also feel that because of the specific roles that you're each in, when it comes to support, you lot all navigate towards me. Yeah. Because I'm also a female. Because there might be sometimes a bit of lack of understanding when it comes from male members of staff or our superiors and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not you got so much to fulfill.
Which is an amazing
You're not
thing
getting a well done now, but well done.
I mean, did you like hear that? But what I will say is that even like the other day I said to HR that I'm not doing something on purpose so that I can get in trouble for it. And she was like, listen, you always do it on time. So even if you don't do it on time this time, I'm going to ignore you. And I was just like, let me get in trouble then if I'm not going to get the praise.
No, that's not you.
No,
That's
I know.
not you.
I
That's
know.
not you.
But
That's
I
not
feel
you.
like we have an amazing support system. Like the way, because obviously we're professional, but then we're also family as well. Even the kids gravitate to our energy, like, which is amazing. So it's like, even if they don't have family, although they don't get to see family, we are family, and then it makes them just gel with us a bit more easily as well. So it's like, do you want to get with it or not? And then they choose to get with it. So love that for us.
Rachel, biggest challenge.
I got a few, but I'll say it really quickly. But it's not like, I think being seen, but more being seen by the professionals, by the people we work with, like the authorities, the local authorities, because we are doing a great thing in this world. Our job is so purposeful. We are keeping kids safe. We are being their advocates. We are helping them form their lives. And I don't think we are the ground workers, but the social workers get the credits, or the local authority or whoever gets the credits, but we're actually the ones that they're living with us. Like, we're looking after them. So I think, being seen, but in that department is one of the challenges. As a female, I would say safety.
Agreed.
Because this job is not all roses. It's like there's some hard things. I've done room searches and found a machete knife and had to take it without their consent, calling Adrian, okay, I've just taken this knife. If this boy comes back home and he does something to me, I don't know what to do. Like, it's scary as well. And I'll just keep it as that.
I feel that mine align with you, and having the people that we work together, the social care networks, kind of see what we actually do, the efforts. And I'll give you an example. We had a kid that prior to coming to us, they had been to 18 different placements in the space of like 4 to 6 months. That young person stayed with us for 2 years straight, right? And the support that had to be given was
unmatched,
more than unmatched. Like, it's not something anyone can pay you for, but there was no acknowledgement of like, wow, what are you guys really doing to keep this person for so long, because there's been so many breakdowns. So that's the one thing. And then the next thing would be, I think it would be respect with the with also multi agencies. Like, for me, obviously I'm number 2 basically. So I don't tend to get involved with day-to-day things. But then when I see that somebody's approaching you in a way that is not respectful, or is sometimes borderline bullying, that's when I have to come in and say, hey, you know, when and you do your email, your professional war emails, and you got,
and I feel like that can come from male. It can come from male staff and the male kids, like from both directions. And because we're females, when we tell male staff what to do, I feel like it's not respected the way Adrian will say, I'll do this, and then everyone does it. But then if I say do this, I'm a deputy right now, and I'll tell someone to do something, and they're just looking at me like, okay.
So I get you. I agree with respect thing. So Jada, you want to add a last piece before we sign out?
I have like probably 2. Similar to Sabrina, but different. For me, everyone that praises me, like, oh, well done, Me, I don't see that I'm doing well. I just come to work and I do work, and it's what I know to do. And it's the same, like, from back in school. I will do an exam and I'll go back on it, and constantly questioning myself. I've got the answers there, but provisional, same thing. So when I'm at work, I find it hard for like to respond to people saying, "Oh, well done," or I'm like, okay, like thanks, guys. Like I don't know. I don't feel like I'm going above or beyond. I'm just doing what I'm here to do. So yeah, I find that challenging. Like that's personal. Also, similar to what Rachel said, we do get training, by the way. But when
the safety aspect.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't feel unsafe or threatened. But I know what I'm like. So if a kid is coming at me, or if we get into a situation
How to
like
not take
that,
it personally.
yeah,
And remember
it's
you're at
trying
work.
Not, yeah, it's like
That
I've got
is-
a
Yeah,
channel
you
that
got to
I'm at
remember
work.
you're at work.
What I'll say regarding what you just said, that's something that I really used to struggle with when I
struggle.
first started. And I used to go, I won't say toe to toe, but I'll be like just
Ready.
back and forth.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, okay, we can talk about this tomorrow, and I'm going to get the manager of the home and we can sit down and discuss. And it helps me because I used to leave work heavy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's about your comeback. But all you
Yeah.
have to say is that tomorrow, if that's how you feel,
No
tomorrow...
problem.
And in a positive way, to add to that is like when you're really close with someone, the challenge is how do you keep it professional? Because sometimes you take these children as your own.
No,
Yeah.
you do.
So,
So
and
it's
I think
yeah.
that's really challenging. Like I've had my mum make jollof rice for these kids
Yeah.
because I love them so much.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, Rachel, keep it professional. So
Yeah.
it's that's
Yeah.
quite
But
challenging as
also
well.
understanding the kid and like reading their referrals and knowing where their weaknesses is as well, and like their traumas. That's how you also know how to kind of work with them moving forward. So I remember there was one child that your old key child, one day we clashed, but then I think you was there, and she said to me that basically I must have said, you know what, I'll leave you alone then. But me saying that to her,
Was a
she
trigger.
showed me that she's
She-
never going to forget this, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
You can't leave her alone,
she
she
was
wants you.
crying. So Rachel's gone to go and speak to her. Then she's still sitting there crying. So I said, I'm going to speak to her. Rachel's like, no, don't go and speak to her. I've gone outside to speak to her. And I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, nothing. And I'm like, I know you're going through it with work, college, your relationships and all these things, whatever. Then we hugged. And from then I told her that, look, I'm going to be your best friend and I'm also going to be your worst friend. But I'm not letting go whilst you're still here, if that makes sense. Because you have to be clear with these kids as well. But now that I know that that was one of her traumas, or I could have triggered her trauma, I know how to communicate with her. So even if I say something to her, till this day, that I might feel like she's offended, I make sure that she doesn't leave me without understanding what I mean.
Yeah.
Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
I'm very clear with my words and stuff. So regarding that, it's just about knowing them and knowing how to approach them, because each kid wants a different approach, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's always going to be a struggle because we always have a duty of care
Yeah.
and we have to have professional boundaries.
Yes.
So the only thing is that I know for us lot, the good thing is that we let them know that if you're doing something or planning on doing something or dealing with something that we know is going to be at risk to you, try and know at that point we're not your best friend. We're
Yeah.
doing everything that we do in your best interest.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can bite us. But at the end of the day, first and foremost, we have a duty of care to support the young people,
Yeah.
especially if there's risks presented. So, for example, like if they're going to go missing, where you have the excellent rapport with them, they will tell you, oh, you know what, I'm going to a house party, but don't worry, I'll be home about 2:00. No problem. We'll still follow the protocols, but at least we have the inside that where they really might be. Do you get what I mean? But
Quick
Last
question.
thing, last thing.
Oh, sorry. What's your challenges?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I said my challenges.
Oh yes.
I said about
After
the
me, yeah. The safety
the
and
safety,
safety and-
the multi-agency working
Yeah.
and when they tried to bully certain members of staff.
Mad-
Thank you so much to the women of We Care Homes. I would love for us to sit down and kiki and do this. Also, I would like to recommend like female professional groups that I'm part of that I'm going to make sure that I'm going to pass on to you guys. And if anybody else that would like to know some of the groups, no problem. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Bye.